You made it! I love that woman. Because no matter what I go through, she's just been there.
I just want to say thank you.
So good to see you.
It's good
Congrats.
to see you too. Thank you.
This woman was a drug addict who only found help thanks to this officer.
If it wasn't for Officer, I would probably be dead by now.
In 2014, an Indiana police officer named Tom Williams stopped a 19-year-old driver named Marisa Krause for speeding and then found a thin foil containing heroin in her car. So he arrested her and had an important meeting with her parents.
Somebody were to tell me that my daughter, in Victoria, Minnesota, was going to be a addict, I would have said no way.
Sergeant Williams explained Marisa's situation and then advised her parents not to let her back into their home until she got help for her addiction. So Marisa moved to California for heroin addiction treatment and then 6 years later came back to Sergeant Williams as a completely changed person.
Good to see you.
It's good
Congrats.
to see you too. Thank you.
Primarily, I talked to your folks about was the idea of tough love. And they listened, and it's a really hard thing to do.
And I wasn't willing to risk throwing that all away. If it wasn't for Officer, I would probably be dead by now.
Marisa was now 6 years sober thanks to Sergeant Williams. But interestingly, Sergeant Williams had also been addicted to heroin before and was now sober for 41 years.
I've got a recovery date coming up in a couple of weeks myself.
It's awesome.
I was very young like you when I
Yeah.
got into recovery.
I just want to say thank you. Really meant a lot to me
Quite welcome.
because I have a great life now.
Sergeant Williams helped both himself and Marisa fight their drug addiction, and Marisa hoped to one day be a substance abuse counselor for others.
Why would I want to invite somebody like that into my life?
This female officer hated criminals and didn't want to be around them.
It's so easy. Just stop committing crime.
Until she met a criminal who managed to change her mind completely.
I love that woman. Because no matter what I go through, she's just been there, you know what I mean?
In 2016, a 36-year-old Seattle prison inmate named Candace Benefield, who'd spent more than half her life behind bars, joined a program meant to reintegrate inmates into everyday life. But she didn't know what to expect.
Felt like my destiny was to die like my dad did in prison.
I was in prison at that time for robbery. I really always felt like everyone in my life was temporary. I joined this program called the If Project.
And after joining the program, Candace was placed under the mentorship of a 12-year female officer named Jennifer Estrom, who also didn't know what to expect and didn't even want to mentor Candace.
Why would I want to invite somebody like that into my life?
I just felt like I never felt safe with the cops.
A woman who, in my everyday life, I would probably avoid. And it was going to be a very black and white mentorship. I'm here to provide her with support.
I was like, they paired me up with a cop, like this is stupid. Like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna talk about?
I never planned to actually enjoy my time with her. I took my wedding ring off. I wasn't gonna say anything about being married or having a family.
But after Officer Jennifer and Candace met and started to learn about each other, their perceptions of one another slowly changed.
What I learned about Candace really quickly is that she's incredibly organized, she's very motivated. My idea was, how did this woman ever end up in prison? Because she seems to have such a straight head on her shoulders.
The first time I ever got locked up, I was 8 years old. I got in trouble for assaulting a girl at the playground. I was being abused from the time I was 6 to I was 8 by my mother's boyfriend. My mom didn't really want to have anything to do with me. When I first hit that girl, when I first got in trouble, was the first time I got taken from my home, and it was the first time I felt safe to sleep at night, even though I didn't even know where I was and I was around a whole bunch of strangers. A lot of times when I ran away from home and stuff like that, the cops were who always brought me back home, and nobody listened to me. Prison and being locked up is what I knew. The consistency of where I was what kept me safe.
I had really no understanding of how difficult it is for somebody to break their own personal cycle of incarceration.
Out here, I just feel like people can sneak up on you.
I found that we could trust each other and talk to each other and really open up about our misconceptions that we had about each other. So I was really surprised with how much more we had in common than I thought.
We would talk through emails.
She writes, I really used to feel like I would always be looked at like one of those spoiled apples, but people like you helped me to realize that I'm much more and that people do care.
Officer Jennifer learned a lot about the life of crime from Candace, and Candace learned that there was an even better life outside of crime and prison. So in 2017, when Candace was released from prison, Officer Jennifer was there to show her that life.
My first day, she spent the whole day with me.
I could see the stress and how overwhelmed she was becoming.
I don't think like people understand how much of a life change. Like when I say I don't know certain things, I really don't know certain things that are simple to people, that are basic to people.
I mean, we're talking as basic as, do I buy that toilet paper or do I buy that toilet paper?
She just had a whole list of things, making sure that my first night that I was in here was comfortable.
We are literally checking off the box of everything that we need to do that day, and this song comes on. Don't stop believing. She sang at the top, we both sang at the top of our lungs.
And she was getting it. But I was too. We had the windows rolled down and we was just...
And in this one moment, I saw this woman release all her inhibitions, and I think her fears and her worries that she had about her release.
As crazy as I'm like thinking, I'm like, dang, I never really felt free, but I did feel free that day.
To be able to see her let go, but also kind of just rejoice in the pure, simple, singing her heart out to one of her favorite songs with the wind in her hair and the sun on her face was a really beautiful moment, but also a really grateful memory that I have of seeing really begin her new journey in her new life. Sorry.
Officer Jennifer and Candace bonded really closely, and a year later, in 2019, the mentorship program officially ended. But that didn't change much about their friendship.
Strangers waiting up and down. Every month they choose to see each other.
I'm never uncomfortable around her. Like even like the fact that she'll leave her purse or her wallet on the table, like little stuff like that. Like she doesn't try to like let me take my purse to the bathroom with me. I've played with her son. Like she's not uncomfortable. Like she's not like she doesn't share her life with me.
And the officer shows up even when she's not welcome.
We've had some rocky points where she's even told me that I want to end the mentorship. I don't want to be in this program anymore. I don't want you as a mentor anymore. And I just came knocking on the door. I mean, literally, I showed up at her house and knocked on the door and told her to get it together.
I love that woman. Like, it makes me cry. Because no matter what I go through, she's just been there, you know what I mean? Like, my ups and downs, and I'm telling you, I'm not a walk in the park. You don't find people like that. Like, regardless of her, what she does in life or anything, like, she is just as human as I am. And she loves me regardless, and that means something to me so much.
And at the end of that year, Candace completed her parole and was officially free from her sentence.
I got my baby, I got my baby. I told her, bye-bye, I'll never see you again.
This is the first time that she has completed a probationary period and not fallen back into the same lifestyle that she was in.
And after spending half her life in prison, Candace was hired by the State Police Academy to speak with future correction officers in training.
Because it's like I never humanized any of you guys. If we work together instead of against each other, it makes a big difference.
But there's no one Benefield's changed more than the deputy who set out to change her.
Our mentorship and friendship has just opened up my world and given me an experience that I don't think I would have ever had with any other relationship in my life. I'm carrying that all with me as I'm interacting with the public again.
In the process of mentoring a prison inmate, Officer Jennifer earned a new outlook on life and a new friend in Candace. But this former prison inmate ended up risking his life to save an injured police officer.
Over here! Over here! Right here! You're okay, bro! You're okay, breathe! Hold my hand! Hold my hand! Just look at me!
If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. On November 11th, 2023, Texas officers pursuing a stolen vehicle down a highway at high speeds watched as it crashed into multiple vehicles before coming to a stop.
Get the f*** up! Do not move! Do not f*** move!
Do not move! Do not move! Let me see your hands now! Let me see your hands! Dallas, this way!
And just then, the 19-year-old carjacker, still inside the vehicle, suddenly fired at an officer's leg, sending him straight to the ground. But as another officer tried to drag the injured officer to safety, a bystander rushed behind to help him.
Help me pull! Help me pull! Help me pull!
Come on, you're okay, bro.
Officer down!
Over here. Right here. You're okay, bro. You're okay. Breathe. Put your gun down. You're okay. You're gonna be all right.
Where you at?
Listen, you're gonna be okay, bro. Relax. Hold my hand. Hold my hand. Just look at me. Look at me the whole time. Hold it. Look at me.
Bullets from police and the carjacker were flying around, but the 39-year-old bystander named John Lally went in anyway and dragged the officer to a safe spot. He risked his life to save him, and that was even more shocking because he had an unlucky history with the law.
I'm gonna have somebody come and help you. I promise you, they're gonna fix you up. It's just your leg. You hear me? Just squeeze my hand as tight as you have this, man. I've been to state jail once. The last time I was locked up, man, they offered me 25 years, man. I had no choice but to get out and change my life. You feel me? And It's gonna hurt. This leg and that leg.
John spent 25 years in prison and decided to change his life for the better, and it worked, as the officer he helped save was hospitalized to undergo recovery. After the incident, John was awarded the Carnegie Medal for heroism for saving the officer's life, an action he says was completely unplanned.
There was like an 8-9 car multiple accident. I saw a car flip over, I saw a tire fly in the air, and I said, oh my God, let me start recording. I started recording, I jumped out of the truck, and as soon as I jumped out of the truck thinking I'm gonna go pull somebody from a car or something, they started shooting, so I ducked behind the trailer, and then I just heard more shots, and then I looked to the left and I saw somebody get shot in the leg and fall down to the ground and stand up, and then he fell again, and I immediately felt his pain because I've been shot in the same leg before. Somebody tried to jack me back in 2013, and I tried to fight them for the gun, and then they shot me in my leg, shattered my femur bone. The other officer, shout out to you, sir. He's the one that put the tourniquet on the officer, and then I just told him to hold my hand, and I wanted to talk to him because I know if you talk to somebody while they're going through something, it's gonna help take their mind off the situation and what's really going on. And then I found out that he has a 20-month-old son. He needs to go home and be a father. That's why I told him raise that kid right, because I grew up without a dad. So I know what it's like, and I know what his future can be, man. He has a lot of good things coming his way.
Were those instincts that you just ran and pulled him because of your experience? Were you ever thinking, like, I might get shot right now?
I'm born and raised in Southwest Houston, and I always see a bunch of crazy stuff. I grew up on Bel Air and Hillcroft, so shout out Southwest, man, you know what I'm saying? But like and I've been to jail a lot, so like seeing things and hearing things, you just react, man. I think anybody that has a true heart would have done the same thing that I'd done had they been in my position. There were a couple other people that came up and helped afterwards, and I had people open the doors to make sure we wouldn't get shot. Then he was tucked under the truck. I had him turn off the ignition so the exhaust wouldn't mess with him. And I'm just glad that I'm still here and I'm alive, and rest in peace to my mom. Love you very much.
Yeah. And you were talking earlier that one of the headlines that you believe is, look, you have a past, but now you're doing such great things and your mom is kind of guiding you along.
Never count the days, make the days count. You can't change the past, but you can always work on the future.
It's beautifully said.
But the next former inmate wrote a book with a corrupt officer who did something shocking to him.
Were you able to forgive him?
Oh, yeah. Every few months I ask him if we're still okay.
In 2005, a 26-year-old Michigan police officer named Andrew Collins was outside a convenience store waiting to arrest a drug dealer whose identity he had not yet confirmed. But just then, a black man in his 20s named Jamil McGee was just exiting the store, and he was stopped by Officer Andrew.
Comes out of the store and starts walking right towards the vehicle. I wasn't in uniform, I was plain clothes. And I said, give me the I know you brought me some.
And I'm like, what dope? I don't have any. And I'm trying to walk around him, and it just wasn't working.
I put handcuffs on him and I detained him in the back of one of the squad cars after searching him, and then went back to the vehicle and found an ounce of crack in the center console of the vehicle.
Jamil claimed the drugs weren't his and that Officer Andrew was arresting the wrong guy. And when Officer Andrew reached out to the FBI, they confirmed this too.
I got a phone call from the FBI saying that it wasn't the guy who I thought it was. That his fingerprints came back, that it was somebody else.
But at the time, Officer Andrew was looking for a case or arrest that would elevate his career. So he decided to continue with the arrest and lie about this case.
The power of a police officer. One man's word can wreck an entire man's life.
I was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison.
One of my main goals was to be the absolute top cop, not only in my county, but in the state. And I was willing to lie in any report if that were going to advance my career.
Jamil was sent to prison for 10 years for a crime he did not commit because of Officer Andrew's corrupt practices. But interestingly, while Jamil was in prison, Officer Andrew was caught with more than 5 grams of crack cocaine while being investigated for corrupt practices by the FBI. He was fired from his job and sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. Following this revelation, Jamil was released after serving only 3 years. And 6 years after the arrest, Jamil was at a park where he surprisingly ran into Officer Andrew.
I beeline right to him, and I stuck out my hand.
He said, "Do you remember my name?" And I said,
I just looked down at my son, and I said, well, explain to my son I was missing these years out of his life.
And I said, "Man, there's nothing I can do to give you that time back. I was a messed up human being. I was addicted to myself. I was addicted to my ego. I'm so sorry for the things I did to you."
Jamil then walked away, ending that interaction. But in the following years, Jamil and Andrew would meet up again and even start working together to eventually write a book about their life experiences.
And the book they wrote together is Convicted, a crooked cop, an innocent man, and an unlikely journey of forgiveness and friendship. Here with me now. It's unbelievable. It's incredible. Thank you both so much for telling this story. Let me start with you and ask you the question everybody's thinking, which is, how could you?
Yeah. On that day, I was convinced that he was guilty. When he came out of the store, he looked like a drug dealer. And I just look back now and I say, who is now my friend, wasn't dressed much different than he is today. But on that day, I was convinced that this man was guilty. So I operated the rest of the day out of that guilty until proven innocent. So I just, I set it in my mind that by the end of this day, I was going to get a conviction.
But then you get the call from the FBI saying you got the wrong guy.
Yeah, well, the call wasn't I got the wrong guy. The call was the guy, I locked Jamel up under the wrong name because he was so frustrated that day he wouldn't give me his name. And once his fingerprints came back, it was clear that it wasn't the guy who I was targeting. So at that point, I could have cleared everything up, but I was still convinced in my mind that he was guilty and that he needed to go down for it.
So in your head, you didn't think you were sending an innocent man to prison?
No, it wasn't until we got talking after we became friends that I really had to reconcile in myself that this was a completely innocent man.
How about you? And you're sitting there knowing that were not yours, that this was completely unfair. Did you feel powerless to stop it?
Oh, totally. There was nothing I can do to stop it. Everything I tried to say or produce, nobody wanted to listen or even hear of it.
Was it a jury trial? How did you wind up?
I had a
Jury trial. So the jury did not believe your testimonial?
Not at all. Not at all. I guess not, because...
And when you're standing there in court and they say you're going to prison for 10 years, what goes through your head?
Angry, frustrated. I just wanted to, I was hurt, and I wanted to just make somebody pay for this.
And then it's like a miracle, because 3 years in, you find out the cop who's responsible for you being there was himself arrested. And the case against you fell apart. You get released. There's this meeting by chance in this park in Michigan one day. Did you recognize him immediately?
Oh, yeah.
Did you remember him?
I did. As he was coming through the crowd, there's hundreds of people out there, and I see him coming at me, and I turned to a friend of mine and I said, "Hey, if this goes sideways, take my daughter home.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a very good chance this could go sideways.
Right. He didn't look happy, and
Yeah.
you know, he reached out his hand to shake my hand. And I was thinking, oh great, this is a reconciliation moment. This is what I feel like I'm called to. So I shook his hand, and he squeezed it extremely tightly. And I was, it was pretty apparent that day that it wasn't going to go the way I thought.
Where were you mentally at this point? Because you sort of were honest about being this brash cop who didn't care about.
Yeah. So by this point, when we met in the park, I went through this incredible faith journey where I felt like my call was back to Benton Harbor to say I'm sorry to people, to try to right the wrongs that I had done. So I was in that park that day with the intent of running into people who I had harmed, with wanting to tell them I'm sorry. So that was.
So a few years pass after this awkward meeting, and you wind up, was it a community center?
Yeah, I was working for a nonprofit that was all about job placement in Benton Harbor.
And into the nonprofit, you're looking for a mentor. They help you find a job, help you find, and tell them what happened.
Yes, my teacher came and said, hey, we finally got you a mentor. It was 3 weeks into the class, and she was like, we finally got your mentor. God has laid it on my heart for you two guys to be mentor-mentee. And he's done some things in the city of Benton Harbor, but you can change them at any given time you want. And I was like, all right, Miss P already. And she was like, I was like, ain't no way.
Can you imagine? So his mentor is going to be the cop who put him in jail unfairly, with whom he had this encounter in the park. So how did you get past the point of, oh no, to they now call each other brothers? How?
Because it was too much going on. Too many things I was seeing them too much. Too many things were being lined up, and I know it wasn't my doing.
You think it was the Lord?
Definitely. So.
Why?
Man, because I allowed them back into my life, and I wanted something different. I wanted to be able to give something different to my son to look up to.
Were you able to forgive him?
Oh yes.
Quickly?
It was a process. It wasn't just like today, tomorrow, I'm just done. It took years to get to this point.
Every few months I ask him if we're still okay.
They managed to turn a very unfortunate incident into a story about forgiveness. But this officer took it a step further after he tracked down the man that shot and almost killed him.
If he actually wants to make a difference to people's lives, I will support him.
I would put my life in harm's way for him if I had to.
In 1994, a Brixton police officer named James Seymour and his partner were out on patrol when they saw two men on a bike, unaware that one of them was a gangster named Leroy Smith and was armed with a gun.
My colleague wanted to look for some overtime, and the easiest way to do that would be a simple arrest. We did a textbook stop, back to back, separated them.
And I said, I ain't got nothing to hide, or something along them lines. And I had things to hide.
He dropped something on the floor that I thought was crack. So I went to push him against the wall so I could take hold of the evidence.
It just went crazy. And the whole thing was like a split-second thing. It's like, it wasn't like I planned it. It just happened.
He pulled a handgun from his waistband, hit my colleague in the leg, and it's one of those things where everything's in slow motion. This isn't really happening. This is just a nightmare. I'm going to wake up in a minute. The alarm's going to go off. But it is reality, and it was just a surge of adrenaline.
When you live like that, you're not thinking about other people. You think about yourself. It's a self-centered world that you're living in.
The gunman then fired a third shot, which hit me about a centimetre from the spine, went across the top of the kidney, and then ripped out the side of the flesh out the side of my body. And I remember sitting there, lying there thinking, I'm not going to die here. I'm not dying here.
Officer James and his colleague were rushed to the hospital while Leroy and his accomplice ran off, but they were eventually captured by the FBI, and Leroy was sentenced to 25 years in prison.
That is a long time. I just thought to myself, I'm never getting out. That's what I thought. I thought I'm never getting out.
But Leroy did get out of prison after nearly 20 years, which was when he began mentoring young people and even wrote a book about his experiences. And interestingly, Officer James came across that very book.
I
read it. Some of it I didn't agree with. Some of it I found really interesting. And I thought, if he actually wants to make a difference to people's lives, I will support him and let him know that I agree with what you're doing, and I hope you have changed, because I always wanted that.
And 20 years after shooting him, Officer James reached out to Leroy and they became friends.
This just feels weird.
You haven't been come back at all then?
No, I always try to avoid Brookston if I can.
Have you?
To be honest.
I've been back a couple of times, but it seems a bit strange being here with you.
Yeah, I didn't realise that it would feel so heavy on my heart. That's the truth. Now that I'm here, I'm kind of lost for words for it. That's not normally like me.
I'm pleased doing it with me. You know, this is a moment, another moment in my life I won't ever forget.
If it was me, I wouldn't forgive someone. So if it was a situation now where something was happening, I would put my life in harm's way for him if I had to, without hesitation, because of everything what's happened. That's the truth.
I accept some of my colleagues are not going to support what I'm doing because, I don't know, they might be old school and think, well, he shot 2 police officers, they should throw the key away. But for me, that's just very narrow-minded. Just forgiving has been amazing. It's made him feel good, it's made me feel good. You know, when I was suffering PTSD, it wasn't just because of the shooting, it was due to a number of horrific incidents that I dealt with. But now, without doubt, it's one of the best things I've done in my life.
I shot the man, point blank, a policeman. I don't know him from nowhere. Our paths have collided. I'm a gunman, I'm a bad man, he's a lawman. And now I can class him as a friend.